Okay, this is lesson 5.4. This is already kind of familiar to us. We know that solutions can have no solution, one solution, or infinitely many solutions. We know that if they intersect, they're going to have one solution. We know if they are parallel, they will have no solution. And we also know that by just looking at two equations, if they have the same slope, they're going to be parallel. We also know that if it ends up being the same line, they are over the top of each other, and that's infinitely many solutions are all real numbers. So that's if the lines are the same. So when we're solving systems, we can solve by graphing, and if you graph and they are parallel, then you know there's going to be no solution. But before I would even do that, I could quickly even look at these two equations, noticing that they have the same slope, which is kind of what your study tip tells you. If they have the same slope, I know from my earlier lessons that they are parallel, and if they're parallel, they'll never intersect. So again, it will be no solution. If I did not see that to begin with, and I was solving by using substitution, for example, substitute 3x minus 3 for y on equation 1. So when I do that, I would subtract 3x from both sides, and I get negative 3 equals 1. We know that negative 3 can never equal 1, so the system of linear equations has no solution. Okay, so you can go ahead and try 1, 2, and 3 on the other page. There's room for you to do that. The next problem that we have is example 2. So we know to find the perimeter, it is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And we start off with knowing that rectangle A has a perimeter of 36 and rectangle B has a perimeter of 108. So starting with A, we know we have two sides that are 2x, plus we know we have two sides that are 4y, and we know that that equals 36. So that's our first equation. We're going to simplify that. So 2 times 2x is 4x, plus 2 times 4y is 8y, and we're going to bring that down to be equation 1. We're going to do the same thing with rectangle B. There are two sides with 6x. There are two sides with 12y, and that equals 108. So when we simplify those, we get 12x plus 24y equals 108. So that is equation 2. Now, we can solve that by graphing, and if you graph those, notice that that becomes the same line. So since they're exactly the same line, no matter what I put in for x and y, they're going to always be equal. Also, we noted that if you look at the two equations that we're going to use, we quickly noticed that if you took 4 times 3, or 4x times 3, you get 12x. 8y times 3 is 24y, and 36 times 3 is 108. So if you see that you can multiply or divide to get the other equation, if you can multiply or divide by the same number and get this the other equation, then that's also meaning that's going to be the same line and that it's infinitely many solutions. Method 2 uses elimination. We're not really going to talk about elimination this year. That's something that you will learn next year. The one thing I do want you to know that if you are solving through substitution and you get where the numbers equal each other, like 0 equals 0 or 7 equals 7, then that means that those are the same lines, and that means it's infinitely many solutions or all real numbers. Go ahead and do that on your own for 4 through 7 as well on the next page. So go ahead and pause and do that. Okay, these are the answers for the, here they are worked out, I'm sorry. So for the first two, if you worked them out, notice that you get numbers that can't ever be true. But better yet, I noticed that they had the same slope here. And if I move the 5x over to the other side, I know that would be negative 5x. On this one, I actually did do the solving, and I got y equals negative 3, so I put that here. Then I put negative 3 in for y, and I solved that using substitution, and I get x is 4. So that was a 1 solution. For numbers 4 5 and 6. For number 4, I got the solution of 0, 3. For number 5, there's no solution because 10 will never equal 0. And for number 6, I got infinitely many solutions, or all real numbers. And number 7, it's no solution because y equals negative half x plus 27/4 is parallel to the equation of the perimeter of rectangle B.